I've audited over 100 websites last year for SEO, and I'm going to show you my 13-step process that I do for every new website that comes my way. And so it's actually much simpler than you think, and I'm sure not going to cover every possible scenario. So I just want to give you the bare bones, the thing that's going to give you the most leverage when you're checking a website and analyzing it for SEO purposes. So the first thing you want to do is download an extension on your Google Chrome for SEO Pro extension by Marketing Syrup. Now there's many of these kind of tools and extensions out there, but this is just the one I'm using currently. And this will tell you a lot of SEO stuff on the page that you're looking at. So if you go to a random page, you can see the metadata, the headers, all this kind of stuff, and you can dig deep. So I'm going to show you what to look for in this video. So the first thing that I check is I check meta titles. So what is that? So meta titles is kind of like JR Marketing. If I typed it into Google, these are all, that's a meta title there, but that's automatic. That's not the one that I've set. Again, Google sometimes automatically sets your metadata for you based on the search query. Okay, so you can see these automatically rename that, fun fact. But you might go through, this is a meta title, this is a meta title, this is a meta title, this is a meta description, etc. Okay, and so when we go back to this, what are we looking for? Well, it's got to be 60 characters or less. It's got to have the exact keyword in it, and it's got to use power words or numbers. So 60 characters or less, this one's 59. This one down here is 60 characters. Does it have the exact keyword? So in this way, we've got corporate immigration lawyer Sydney is the exact keyword. So we've got that in there. And do we have power words or numbers? So for example, this one here says corporate immigration lawyer Sydney, and then it's got some social proof, like 99.9% approval rate. I recommend using social proof if you can. Any excuse to add numbers in so that you can improve your click-through rate, because you're just trying to improve the chances of someone clicking on your listing on Google versus someone else, a competitor. Okay, next thing I check, number 2, is check meta descriptions. So meta descriptions is this one just here. You can open up this and check. ClickUp's one is this one. You can see this website over here has this one here. So what are we looking for? It's got to be less than 155 characters in length. Or roundabout, right? This one's 156, and that's still considered okay. If we look through, we've got to make sure that the exact keyword is in there. So is the exact keyword in here? Corporate immigration lawyer services. So that's not the exact. It's got to be literally the same thing. So this one here is missing the exact keyword. Does it have numbers or power words? Yes, it does. It's got 99% success rate. Trusted by blah, 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 right? So it's pretty powerful. It might convince someone to click on through this page, right? Okay, number 3, the next thing we check is, does it have at least one or maximum of one H1 tag, right? So you'll see a H1 here and it says number 1, right? This one down here says it again. If you've got H1 and it says like 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, then that's a big no-no. You cannot have more than one, because this tells the bots what this page is about. You cannot confuse the bots and basically say it's about this and it's also about this. That's not how it works. I've got a video on this as well, so recommend that later. And I've also got a video on meta titles and descriptions on how you can write them even better. And I give away free ChatGPT scripts for that as well. Let's keep going. Number 4, check your H1 tag again. So we might want to go into the headings feature inside of this app. So you can click on headings and it will, for this page, for example, it shows you a bit more. It shows you all this stuff. So what are we looking for with headings? We need to make sure the exact keyword is in the H1 tag. So we've got the exact keyword in the H1 tag, which you can see here in small text, right? That's a H1, this one here. And then what else are we looking for? Power words or numbers. So we've got like number 1, blah, 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 blah. So there's a number in there. It's a little catchy. Next, number 5, check correct use of headers. So how are these headers applied? Are they structured logically for a robot to look at? So if number 1 is about, like the whole page is about this, then is number 2 sequentially underneath this topic, right? So don't let one mistake cost the talent your business needs. And then underneath that, there's a H3 tag, which 7 years in immigration law, 99% success rate, etc. H3, H3, H3. And then we've got a H2 down here starting a new section. Again, I cover all of this in my header tag video, so you'll know exactly how you need to structure these. In terms of check headers that add value, right? If a bot has no need for it, don't structure it in the header. Don't add it to your header. So, for example, if you find that semantically, if a bot sees success rate in correlation with immigration law, then a bot is kind of probably expecting to see that on the page somewhere, because every other law firm does the same thing. They mention their success rate. Same with years of experience in immigration law. But you might find end-to-end client support isn't that useful to a bot. It doesn't really matter. It's not semantically relevant because it could apply to anything. So you might want to get rid of that as a H3 and just keep the rest on there. You can just change the tag. Some web builders do not let you change the tag. That sucks, but that's just how it is. I use Elementor and I can change anything. Okay, cool. So we've gone through that. Let's go through. So as you can see, this one's a H1 tag. This one is a H2 tag. This one here is just a paragraph tag. And these are all H3s below. And it covers all in the one section, which is pretty cool. Next thing I check. Alt text. So you can actually see the alt text here and then click on images and just scroll through and see all the ones you're missing. So this one's missing alt text, this one's missing alt text, etc. So basically you need to include the exact keyword in the alt text, something like this, right? And this one here, the keyword's probably SEO mistakes. And then or it might be something else. But basically, you want to make sure it's got the exact keyword in there, but it's descriptive for people who are visually impaired. So they are either blind or they can't see well, and they need these kind of descriptive images. And so you can basically help search engines understand what this is, and you can help ChatGPT and other AI understand what the images is about. So it helps train those models, but it also improves your SEO. So make sure that you add that. I've got a video on how to write your alt text and ChatGPT, a free script for you to use. Number 8 is checking your schema markup. Now, you need to see whether or not your page has relevant schema. Does it have local business schema? Does it have service schema? Does it have web page schema, breadcrumbs? Does it have reviews and ratings? Basically you can ChatGPT this and work your way through using Schema Validator to install schema markup. We use Rank Math for that. And so you can use Rank Math to basically install schema into a WordPress website. But if you're using Shopify or something else, you might have to use a different plugin, right? But schema is very, very important. You can use schema to earn rich result snippets. And so rich result snippets are very, very, they're pretty cool to earn. So I recommend obviously earning them, and it's not a big deal. It doesn't take a lot of time to create the schema yourself. So go ahead and do that. I might come up with a video on how to do this in the future. Number 9 is checking Screaming Frog. So you can go ahead and download Screaming Frog. It's free. And so you can check all the issues on your website using Screaming Frog. So as soon as you pump in your website into the little search bar up here, after you've installed it and you click start, then it will start crawling your web pages and it will find issues for you. And so each of these issues, some of them, aren't important. You don't need to fix all of them. Like, for example, I might see missing size attributes. I don't really need to fix that right now. These ones here, these don't need to be fixed because they're not really relevant to what I need. Okay, and then I might just go down and see that, okay, well, my meta descriptions, I could probably fix them because some of them are over 155 characters. My images, some of them are over 100 kilobytes in size, so I've got to go and compress those ones. So it just helps you fix anything that you kind of would have missed in the first checks. And so I've got a tutorial on how to compress your images under 100 kilobytes. There's a good video on that one. But for the rest of them, I usually consult ChatGPT just in case I don't know how to fix something. But these guys actually add a description on how to fix it, why it's important, etc. So yeah, that will help as well. So I've just gone through down there as well. Okay, number 10 is to check Ahrefs. Okay, so I use Ahrefs to do some double checks to make sure we're checking like referring domains, number of backlinks, and the discrepancy between them. I'm not going to go through that right now. I've got another video on how to actually check links and things like that. We also go through keywords and traffic. So what have I got on this list? So do we have enough quality domains? So I've got a video on how many backlinks you actually need. So go check that out. Do we have enough keywords in your target area? So what you might find is we go into keywords, right? We filter through Australia. Let's say I'm targeting Australia. I got a lot in Russia. That's weird. But I got targeting a lot in Australia, and basically I might find that, okay, I've got my commercial pages ranking number 1 for SEO expert, and we can see my page on digital marketing consulting's number 1. Importance of link building is number 1. And so all of these are like ranking really well and they're commercial intent. So I could sell people stuff on these pages, and I'm ranking in the country that I want to, in Australia. Likewise, in the United States, I'm ranking really well. So, invest in marketing. For some reason, I'm ranking for that. But we can see all of those rankings. You need to see if you've got enough. If you don't have enough rankings in your specific area that you're trying to go for, then you need to make sure that you're creating a topical authority map. Okay, so I've got a video on how to create a topical authority map. I've even got an easier way on how to do it. I might release it on school soon, and I'll show you guys how I actually do it now. But yeah, that's one thing. And are you getting enough quality traffic? This is another thing. So it doesn't matter if you're ranking for the keyword. Are you getting enough volume? Are you getting enough traffic coming through, right? And what's the value of that traffic? I could get lots of traffic for color meanings in marketing, but that might not generate any sales for me, right? So there's a difference between me ranking for SEO Specialist Australia as #1, and I might get like bookings out of that, versus color meanings and marketing. Probably not as valuable, right? So the quality of that traffic is very, very important when you're looking at the numbers here. You can see value, 9,900. If I were to spend $9,900 US per month on paid ads, that's what I would get for all my rankings that I have now, just in the United States alone. That's the United States. And I can just go here. I've got 5,400 in value, etc. So these are kind of checks that I go through. If you don't have enough traffic, again, make sure that you focus on the number of backlinks that you need. I've got a video on that, because then you can start pointing more quality backlinks to those commercial pages that you have, so that you start to see, increases in traffic value to those respective pages that you want to rank for. Number 11 is check Pingdom or GTmetrix. So Pingdom Tools is the one I'm referencing. So Pingdom Tools. And so I use multiple speed test tools because I don't trust one of them, and I make many, many different tests across different servers. So each one of these are different servers across the world. You would obviously select the one that's closest to the server where you've set up. So if you've got a server in, let's say, Cloudways, and you set up a private server, I could set up one in Sydney. But if you've got a shared server with Bluehost, or was it BlueGator? I forget. All those other cheap hosting providers, basically you're sharing with other people. And essentially, you might be set up in Singapore or somewhere halfway around the world, and it's not close to your ideal customers. So you need to fix that. I didn't include that in that video, but that's just an afterthought of what I'm talking about now. But basically, you need to use GTmetrix or Pingdom tools to scan your website. I personally don't use the Google's speed checker, page speed, because I find that it's not as relevant as the other ones. That doesn't spit out as quality value and tell me all the problems that is wrong with the website. So basically you scan it a few times, because you might scan it 20 times to get 20 different results. And then, basically go through at the bottom, and you can see this waterfall and fix some issues here. Now, don't panic if it's like E and it's like terrible performance and blah, blah, blah. The main thing you're looking for is the TTFB is under 300 ms. The first content paint is under 3 seconds, and the largest content paint is under 3 seconds as well. Okay, so don't panic if it's like stretching to 40 seconds here, because this is not what people actually see. Like if you go down the waterfall, you will realize that it's things like tracking that causes it to, it might be a Facebook pixel, or it might be something else that's like causing it to load for 40 seconds. But people actually see the first 3 seconds and start browsing the page. They're not waiting 40 seconds before they actually use the website. So don't panic. Like, you don't have to get A scores or whatever. Just a lot of novice business owners getting into this for the first time always want like A's and A pluses and stuff. Don't fall into that trap like a lot of other people do. So the main reason you want to use this is you want to check the waterfall view just below, like in GTmetrix. You want to see how certain things are loading on your page and then fix them onwards. So screenshot in ChatGPT, fix anything as you're going. You can preload things. You can, preload fonts or upload your fonts to your server. You can compress your images. You can get rid of extra script and JavaScript. There could be 1,000 different things wrong with your website, so I can't go through every single use case. I'm just going to tell you quickly what to check. And not everything's fixable, so don't worry about it. Like, just be chill. Don't try to reach high scores, as I said before. Number 12 is check your NLP and LSI keywords. So once you've chosen a select keyword, it might be in this case SEO copywriting, then you might have semantic or NLP keywords associated with SEO copywriting. And I've got a video on this, which you can check out. But basically, you try to see how you can improve your LSI and NLP scores. right? You can use Surfer SEO, or you could use Neuron Writer is what I use. This makes things a lot easier, right? To make sure that you're injecting the right words in a non-weird way. You don't want to just make the content shit just because you're getting your score up, right? So still, you're trying to balance between getting a great score but making your content really great, right? Don't just inject weird shit throughout your content that reads really awkwardly, because it's got to be good, right? So you don't need to reach the highest scores. That's what I'm trying to get at. Number 13, the final one, is are you tracking your SEO sales? And so this is a big thing most SEO agencies still don't do, let alone businesses, just track their sales from SEO. So you can use a tool like What Converts to track your sales from SEO. It can tell you which blog post the person came from before they converted into a lead or booking or sale. And it's just, it makes your life so much easier when you're tracking stuff. So highly, highly recommend that. If it's not What Converts, find something else that does the same thing, basically tracking sales properly using attribution models so it can feed back to, tell you whether or not you made money through SEO. So that's the 13-step checklist. I just want to go through. We checked meta titles, we checked meta descriptions, checked the H1 tag for whether or not you've just got one of them. We checked the H1 tag again to make sure that there's the exact keywords in there, etc. We checked, the correct use of header tags, okay, SEO header tags. I've got a video on that. And then whether or not each header tag adds value to the actual page and the bot. We checked alt tags or alt text. And so if your images are descriptive enough, we checked schema markup, making sure that you're giving the bot enough context so you're winning rich results, rich snippets results. I always forget what it is. We checked screaming frog, so making sure there's other issues that you picked up, right? And you can fix them along the way. And images, compressing images, etc. Checking Ahrefs. Do you have enough quality domains pointing to your website? You can check my video on that. Explains exactly how many links you need to what pages, etc. Do you have enough keywords in your target area in Sydney, Australia, or New York, or wherever? Do you have enough? And what's the value of that traffic, and how many people are you getting through? What's your organic traffic? So you've got the value and then the traffic itself for each area. We went through checking your page speed using Pingdom or GTmetrix, explaining like what to look for when you're looking at scores and things like that. We explained NLP and LSI keywords, number 12. And then finally, we went through tracking SEO sales. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, leave them below. I'm more than happy to answer them. But yeah, this was a challenging video simply because there's so much to cover in SEO, and these are the 13 rudimentary checks that I do with every single website that moves the needle the most. So anyway, until next time, see you soon.